Yes, I finally saw Alita Battle Angel. Everyone in the world has already seen this film. I think I'm the last human being alive to see this film at this point. People reviewed this 2 weeks ago. There was an early screening. I could have gone. I actually almost went. Something came up. I couldn't go. Then the second time another screening happened, couldn't make it. This time I thought, you know what, I'll just make it opening night. And I finally went and saw it today in my neighborhood, and they played the wrong movie. They started playing What Men Want, which I don't want to see. So I decided, okay, what now? Then the projectionist figured out the issue, and then the movie started playing. When the head and torso of a cyborg are found in the middle of trash by Christoph Waltz's character, Dr. Ido, he rebuilds her into a fully functioning girl who can't quite remember who she is. But she has extraordinary powers and she's very instinctive. She reacts almost immediately to any very tense situation and she can dispatch people pretty easily. And so he gives her a name, Alita, and she starts to slowly try and discover who she really is, while also being involved in situations with the games like Motorball in this city that has been created from a war that happened 300 years ago, which is under another floating sky city called Salem. And so now she has to figure out what has happened in terms of why Salem seems to be creating problems for her, her father, and some of the other people she knows in her life, like a guy named Hugo. This film was directed by Robert Rodriguez, who I have been a big fan of, despite some of his movies not being the best. I think Spy Kids kind of fell apart after 1 and 2. And I actually think he's a very talented director who can do a lot with very little. Sin City, the first one, still remains one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. It's actually one of my favorite movies, period. Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. I actually enjoyed that movie. Not quite as much as the first one, but then I think that's everyone's consensus of that film. I think he's a very talented director, and I think this is his biggest movie to date. And this was written by James Cameron. So you have a lot of talent going into this film. You have a lot of people who are making this thing come alive because this was in development hell for 16 years before it finally got made and now is in the big screen for people to watch and enjoy. And even though it does have some issues, which I'll get into later, I had a ton of fun with this movie. This was such a blast from start to finish. Not one point in time did I ever want to look at my watch, think about how long before the film is over. It does drag in a couple of scenes, but this is such a thrill ride from start to finish that I wouldn't mind seeing it multiple times in theaters. Visually, it's absolutely stunning. James Cameron is known for visual stuff, so his involvement in terms of that department must have been pretty amazing because this film looks beautiful. One of the biggest things, however, I have to credit is Rosa Salazar, who plays Alita. She's phenomenal in this movie. I've seen her in a few things as a supporting character, but here she's terrific. I really can't wait to see what else she does as this character because the ending does set up a sequel as a series, and hopefully, if this movie makes enough money to make that sequel, I can't wait to see that thing happen. This is going to be so cool. But even the supporting cast is also really good. Jennifer Connelly, Mahershala Ali, Christoph Waltz, Ed Skrein. They're all great. Guy playing Hugo, I don't know who that is, the actor's name, but he was also really great. There's a great relationship that is established between Alita and the other characters, and that is just due to the fact that there's a lot of care that has gone into this character. And not a single point does she seem like, oh, she's too overpowerful, so obviously we're not going to root for her at any point in time in the film. Like, we wouldn't get worried for her if she's in a specific situation. But the truth of the matter remains that because she's so, right now, this mentality of being a teenage girl, you're still concerned for her even though she has all these powers. She doesn't quite understand what's going on, and things are still a bit nervous in that regard. And in that way, you really have a great connection established between characters in this movie. That's something I really give a lot of praise to. There's also a pretty cool soundtrack by Junkie XL, which I'm pretty sure from now until the end of from like 2015, we're going to have hints of Mad Max Fury Road in every one of his soundtracks because, I don't know why, but I don't blame him. Composers reuse their cues all the time. There's a few cues in it like that. At least it's not like Mortal Engines, which is just straight up Fury Road. But that movie has a lot of other problems in it. Yeah, I didn't review that movie. You know why I didn't review that movie? Because I didn't want to waste your time with that movie. That movie was not very good. Other things I really liked in Alita. I mean, technically, this film is a marvel. It's gorgeous to look at. The production design is immense. The costumes are also really great. There's visually and acting wise, this is a great film, and it's worth every penny of yours. And that in itself is enough for you to go to a theater and go see this movie right now. Where the issues lie are in its writing. It's not always 100% on point. Now, James Cameron, I respect the hell out of. I think he's a very talented director. He's one of the greatest. Now, as a director, he's really great. Titanic, Avatar, True Lies, even Terminator 2. There are some amazing movies. Aliens. The man is a genius when it comes to directing movies. But if you've noticed something about some movies of his, particularly starting with True Lies, the script is not always amazing. In Titanic, it was the dialogue which wasn't the best. In Avatar, it was the story which was not quite as strong. And here it feels like elements of both have kind of come into this film. There's also a few similar story beats that are incorporated. One of the biggest ones being the city, the sky city above. There's a more elite class which is over there compared to the smaller city below. And you have to play a game called Motorball, which is like a proper championship, and really go up the ranks to be able to go up there to the big city of Salem, which has hints of Hunger Games in it. Some of the aspects of Motorball are similar to the light cycle grid battle in Tron Legacy, but there's also elements of Disc Wars from the first Tron movie and Tron Legacy in that. Sometimes there are those similar aspects. At one point in time, Christoph Waltz looks at Alita and says, what you are in right now, this body of yours, this is a shell. And yes, that's where you can make your comparison of, yeah, it's slightly Ghost in the Shell-esque. That doesn't affect the movie so much as some of the more convoluted stuff. It sets up in a few scenes. I wish it was a little more streamlined. I think one Passover, really, just one. That's how it is. It just needed one more Passover. And I think it would have sorted out any issues it had at that point in time. That's it. Aside from that, it's a great movie. A lot of fun. I highly recommend watching this film. I know this review is super late. I know every critic has reviewed this movie at this point. Still, I mean, I come on. Of course I was going to review this movie. Sorry I just got to it a little late. I'm going to give Alita Battle Angel an 8 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Look forward to more videos very soon. As always, if you like this, please do subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the movies.